Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. Since the very early days of military aviation, austere landings have been an important part of how frontline pilots operate. The term refers to any landing that must be done at an airfield that is less than ideal. This could be an old, cracked runway, a dirt or gravel runway, or no runway at all. Obviously, aircraft landing at over 100 miles per hour have a lot of momentum. In austere landing conditions, it's easy for the plane's tires to lose grip, jump, or slide on the landing surface, potentially leading to a catastrophic accident. For this reason, United States pilots have developed various techniques to maximize safety when operating from these difficult airfields. At this airstrip in California, the military is using a local fire truck to spray down the dirt. The goal here is to minimize the dust that's kicked up by the landing planes, as this can quickly minimize or even eliminate visibility. Pilots need to be able to see clearly in order to land a plane in the best conditions. Let alone on an airstrip where they might quickly run out of room or encounter rough ground. With the dirt properly wetted, both planes and other vehicles can operate on the strip much more safely.
The GPS coordinates for the runway, the start of the runway.
These members of the Mobility Support Operations Squadron are preparing an area in the California desert. This will serve as an austere airstrip. These men and women are tasked with helping pilots take off and land safely, regardless of conditions. And this area's dry, cracked dirt makes doing that quite difficult. The process starts with setting up colorful markers, which pilots can use to tell the landing strip from the rest of the surroundings. Next, the MSOS must carefully measure and plot the airstrip according to a pre-designed plan.
So we're going to do orange at the front.
The area is very flat, which makes it an ideal landing zone.
Coho 90 flight, Bike Lake LZ.
However, the dryness of the soil could potentially cause a lot of dust and debris to fly up and block the pilot's view.
Bike Lake LZ, report the airfield site. And sanity check me.
Since multiple aircraft will be landing on this runway in quick succession, the MSOS team also needs to ensure there is enough room between where the planes will land and where they will park. Finally, after hours of preparation, an Air Force C-17 makes its approach and lands on the strip. After collecting a team of paratroopers, the plane takes off again, leaving a cloud of dust in its wake. Fortunately, the dust dissipates before the second aircraft arrives. One of the organizations most responsible for safe landings, austere or otherwise, is the 532nd Commodities Maintenance Squadron, or CMMXS. This group of engineers and technicians is responsible for maintaining, cleaning, and restoring the military's aircraft landing gear and braking systems. On a daily basis, they are shipped old or damaged landing gear components that they need to restore to like new condition. Fortunately, the team has a vast array of tools and techniques at its disposal. The facility at Ogden Air Force Base in Utah is more than 500,000 square feet and includes state-of-the-art tooling systems, non-destructive evaluation platforms, and even a plating device. Despite being completely focused on military-grade hardware, there's no question that the CMMXS has access to some of the best equipment in the world for maintaining landing gear. Though they tend to have many features and components in common, most military aircraft are designed with a unique landing gear system built around that plane's specifications. So when a new plane is introduced, maintenance techs need to be extensively trained on how it functions, so they can repair it properly. Unfortunately, this usually means taking a working aircraft out of commission for days at a time. When the brand new F-35 was introduced, both pilots and maintenance crews needed to maximize the amount of time spent training with the aircraft. The military created a special self-contained replica of the F-35's landing gear. That solved the problem. It perfectly mimics the internal and external operation of the real thing and allows trainees to see all the moving parts clearly. Unlike using a real plane, these trainers can also isolate different components of the system, allowing for a better educational experience. Because the CMMXS deals with so many landing gear systems, it's also at the forefront of repair and restoration technology. A great example that is currently being utilized by both private and military operations is magnetron sputtering. The intention here is to mitigate landing gear failures by helping to restore each individual component to the highest quality. To accomplish this, magnetron sputtering uses a high-rate vacuum coating technology to deposit all manner of materials onto component surfaces. As the name implies, this is done by forming a magnetic field between the part and the coating. Already, the technology has been praised for its ability to make aircraft landing gear cylinders like new again. Regardless of how worn they may be. Using a sputtering probe, for instance, a single technician can slowly coat a part in aluminum until it reaches its original dimensions. Clearly, not having to wait for replacement parts has major implications for aircraft maintainers. Rather than grounding a plane for weeks or even months, they can simply restore the damaged landing gear parts to their original condition, even if they stopped being manufactured decades ago. Well-maintained landing gear systems are just one part of the equation that allows military pilots to pull off austere landings. The other is practice. Of course, this typically starts early with much smaller aircraft rather than a fully loaded C-17. Small training craft like the A-29 is great for gaining landing experience on dirt airstrips and other difficult locations. Though they are capable of generating significant power, these planes are generally able to land and take off at lower speeds. With enough practice, it's hoped that the pilots can adjust to dirt landing procedures enough to bring down larger and larger aircraft safely. Even smaller planes tend to kick up a lot of loose dust when operating on these airstrips. And pilots can quickly learn what they need to do to maintain both their visibility and control of the plane. Over the decades, one particular aircraft has cultivated a reputation as the ideal austere landing airplane. That is the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, often known as the Warthog. This subsonic attack aircraft was first introduced in the late 1970s as a ground support plane. It's heavily armed and heavily armored, with weapons that make it suitable for both strafing runs and air-to-air combat. At 53 feet long and boasting a 57-foot wingspan, the A-10 has a huge wing area to fuselage ratio. This gives it a very low stall speed of just 138 miles per hour. This feature alone makes it perfect for low and slow operation and for carefully approaching less than ideal landing zones. However, its engines are also placed high on the fuselage near the tail. This significantly reduces the chances of their taking in dirt, dust, or debris during landing. For 50 years, the U.S. military has utilized the A-10 for many rough and tumble missions in deserts, mountains, and other difficult terrains. In many cases, A-10 pilots will practice their austere landing capabilities on highways all around the world. These planes are so resilient and durable that they can easily come to a safe stop on even poorly maintained surfaces. This is great practice for wartime when A-10s might be called in to operate from areas where no airstrip or landing zone exists. With the ability to take off and land from any stretch of straight road that is 2,500 feet long, they can infiltrate deep into enemy territory. And then virtually disappear from their radar by returning to ground level. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.